guys, so today we're going to be doing CHING number 113. So let's just get started with our first item. This was for a vintage Nippon hat pin holder, and this actually came with 13 vintage hat pins. I won this at an auction with the hat pins included. That did sell for $69.99. So sometimes selling the hat pins separate can net some decent money, but I just decided to list them all with the hat pin holder as, you know, I had found them at the auction. I also sold a Lennox Winnie the Pooh candy jar. This sold for $69.99 as well, and that also came from an auction. At one point there was just a ton of Winnie the Pooh stuff, and Eric and I won quite a few pieces. Most of it has sold. We actually just sold a cookie jar the other day. Next was a men's Burberry button-up shirt. This sold for $15.99. You would think that a designer brand like Burberry would sell for more than $15, but you know, this shirt I had forever. It took forever to sell. So, I mean, I don't think I'd snub Burberry stuff if I would find it out in the wild, but for whatever reason this shirt just was not a popular one. Let's see, the next item actually went to a subscriber named Michelle. Awesome name, girl. She had purchased a vintage Metallica sticker for $19.99, and that came from a yard sale. I also sold a Sega game. This was of Rampage. I absolutely loved this game. I had it for the original Nintendo back when I was younger, and I loved it. That sold for $26.99. I also sold a lot of 2 Avon shower gels in the scent Hollywood Pink. This was a discontinued Avon fragrance, and they purchased 2 of them for a total of $35.98. I also sold a vintage from 1971 Mickey Mouse book rack. So it was just like a little plastic rack that you could put your, you know, children's books in. That sold for $17.99. That did come from a yard sale. Let's see, I sold a Scooby-Doo VHS tape from 1988. This was called Ghoul School, so it was like a Halloween related VHS tape that sold for $12.99, and that did come from a yard sale as well. Let's see, another Disney item was for a Tinkerbell trinket box that sold for $29.99, and that came from an auction. Next item also came from an auction. It was a little brass ladies hand clip, so you could use these to hold like notes and stuff like that as like desk decor type of thing. But you know, brass is hot. People do like brass items, that's for sure. And that sold for $19.99. I also sold another video game. This one was a PS1 game of Resident Evil, and that one sold for $59.99, and that probably came from an auction as well. Next item came from a yard sale. This was a Victoria's Secret heart-shaped sponge that sold for $5.99. I also sold a pair of Footie Pajamas. These were adult-sized Footie Pajamas. They actually belonged to me. They were by Joe Boxer. They had a tiger print on them. You know, they were as uncomfortable as they used to be when we were younger. So I had to get rid of those. They sold for $28.99. I'm not even sure if I mentioned that. Next I have an Anthropologie top. This had Scotty dogs all over it, and that sold for $12.99. I think that came from a thrift store. I sold a Cindy Crawford Cream de Serum skincare. That sold for $34.99, and I purchased some of these at an auction, and then I got some at a yard sale, so it's hard for me to say right now if that one was from the auction or the yard sale. Next was a vintage pair of Blue's Clues children's bib overalls. Those sold for $26.99 and they came from a yard sale. I actually have a couple video games in this CHING. This one was for 2 PlayStation 1 games. They were the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 and 3. So I listed those together. They sold for $22.99. I also sold a vintage dollhouse furniture piece. This one was a Lundby dollhouse sauna that sold for $19.99, and that came from a church sale. I have purchased a vintage Lundby dollhouse and it had a bunch of furniture in. So I've been listing all of the furniture separate. I've been like lotting it out. A lot of it has sold. I don't have much more to go. And then I do plan on selling the dollhouse afterwards. Let's see, I have a Catherine Lily White Black Cat Halloween ornament that sold for $9.99, and I did pay $1 for that. I also sold a set of vintage pink chandelier looking string lights for $29.99, and those came from a yard sale. I also sold a Lefton Easter Angel for $15.99. Next was a vintage 1983 Love-A-Lot PVC Care Bear, which is a little PVC vinyl Care Bear that sold for $9.99. Probably came from a yard sale. Next item also came from a yard sale. This was for a vintage Puma track jacket that sold for $29.99, and I remember I think I paid $1 for that. Let's see, next was a 1985 Teddy Betty Bear plush that sold for, again, $29.99, and that also came from a yard sale. Next item, oh, this one was a good one. This one was for a carved Italian statue by someone named A. Santini. That sold for $149.99, and that came from an auction. Eric and I had won, I think maybe 3 of these Italian sculptures, and I feel like either they all sold or I have one left. I can't remember. I sold a men's Avon cologne. I don't know how to pronounce this. Farud. That sold for $17.99, and that probably, I think that one came from a yard sale. I don't think that one was from the auction. Next item did go to a subscriber named Sandra. This was for a Philosophy State of Grace soap set. That sold for $49.99. I did get that at a yard sale. I also sold, oh, this one was kind of crazy. So I'm sure you have seen in past CHINGs, I had sold the Jello Egg Molds. Well, the one day Eric and I went to the auction and there were like a ton, I'm talking a ton of these Jello Egg Molds, but they weren't by Jello brand. They were just some like off-brand kind of thing, but they were cute. They were egg-shaped, and then they had this like embossed like Easter-y kind of design to them. Anyway, we won like a whole bunch of them. So we listed these, and there was someone who wanted to purchase every single one. They purchased every single one of these Jello molds for $230. So that was a great sale. People love these things. So definitely, like, I was under the impression that the Jello brand was the ones, you know, that you should really be looking for, because those were the ones that were selling. But apparently the off-brand egg-shaped Jello molds sell as well. So that was an awesome sale. Let's see, I sold a blow mold witch yard decoration for $36.99, and that did come from a yard sale. I also sold a resting Grinch face t-shirt for $11, and that came from Walmart. I purchased it like after Christmas clearance for $1. Next was a vintage from 1999 Goody hairbrush that sold for $39.99. I also sold a little tie Jingle Beanie Baby snowman for $2.99. Beanie Baby sell, right? It sold. I also sold a Nikon Coolpix camera for $59.99, and that came from an auction. Next was a vintage from 1995 Hendrick Motorsports shirt that sold for $19.99, and that did come from a yard sale. Same as the next item, also came from a yard sale. This was for a pair of Sadie Green brand earrings. Those sold for $25.99. Next was a perfume. I actually picked this up at the flea market. This was by a company called Ellis Brooklyn that sold for $49.99, and I'm pretty sure I paid $5 for it. Next was, this was vintage from 1990. It was a Stuff a Spider leaf bag, like Halloween bag, where you like, when you rake all your leaves, you stuff it in a bag and fill it up, and it was like this big gigantic spider. Do they still make these types of things? I'm not sure. I don't have trees in my yard, so I don't have to like rake and stuff. But yeah, I know back in the day this was a big thing, like the pumpkin shaped bags and these big spider bags and stuff like that. That came from an auction. It sold for $9.99. I sold 2 of these drug representative pens. Someone purchased 2 of these. The first one was Cialis, that sold for $12.99, and then they also purchased a Viagra one for $12.99. I didn't pay anything for these. These were free from a yard sale, and drug representative type stuff does sell. Next item I did go to a subscriber named Charlotte. She purchased a wooden wig brush that sold for $12.99, and I think I picked that up at a Fill-A-Bag rummage sale. Next item actually came from an auction. This was for a lip mask by a company named Tatcha. It was a red camellia lip mask that sold for $44.99. Tatcha is an expensive, like high-end beauty brand, and that was a discontinued product. I sold a Russ Frankenstein troll for $12.99. He did come from a yard sale. Next item came from an auction. This was by a company called Pry or Prey. I'm still not entirely sure how you pronounce that. It was an ageless throat cream as well as an upper arm cream. Those sold for $49.99. I sold a Chevrolet racing jacket for $89.99. That came from a yard sale. Next was a Fenton Milk Glass Hobnail Fruit Bowl that sold for $19.99. Probably came from an auction. Next was a Boston Warehouse, a Halloween themed cake stand that sold for $25.99. That also came from a yard sale. I sold a pig by Teresa Kogut. I think in my last cha-ching I had sold a cow. This time it was a pig for $12.99. That came from a yard sale. And the last thing I have went to a subscriber named Tina. She had purchased a set of 2 Avon lipsticks in the shade Pout for $12.99. So that is everything for this cha-ching. Let's see what I can talk about. As far as eBay is going, I feel like sales are still doing okay. I feel like I always feel like they could be better, you know what I mean? Like more sales type of thing each day. But, you know, I'm still chugging along. Things are still selling. I need to buckle down myself and just get more listed. It's so hard sometimes because, you know, there's only so many hours in a day to get things done, and when you're doing all this other stuff, it takes a lot of time to like get things done. Like, just so busy between like filming YouTube videos, editing YouTube videos, listing on eBay. Now that I'm doing Whatnot, I'm, you know, having to add things into my shows and take pictures of stuff and get those all going, and then have my shows, and then I'm shipping that stuff. We're shipping eBay stuff. Just the other day, Eric and I went to pick up two, like, not necessarily bookshelf cases, but like display type cases for our antique booth that we don't have yet, but we're trying to gather everything we're going to need whenever we do get an antique booth, and that includes obviously things to display stuff on. So we went to pick that up yesterday. I was thinking, okay, we're gonna go pick up this display center like, and it was kind of not, I have to show you a picture of it. Anyway, so we went to pick that up, and I'm thinking, okay, we'll go there, we'll pick it up, and we'll head back to our storage unit to drop it off, and then I have the rest of the day to do whatever I need to do. So we do that, we get there, and we're, you know, talking to the lady and whatnot, and I don't even know how it came about, but she invited us into the house and pretty much was like, if you want to buy something, like, just give me a price kind of thing. Like, she was an older lady, and she was saying that, you know, her parents had passed, and the house and, you know, everything in it was her parents, and her siblings didn't want to help her, like, clear it out or anything like that, and she's just trying to clear stuff out. She said she's been taking stuff to, like, the auction and whatnot. So she had, oh my gosh, there, like, some of it was, you know, just so stuff, and then, hold on one second. Oh, it was an offer. Someone sent me an offer for something I looked at. So some of it was so stuff, and then some of it was just like really awesome stuff. There was a lot of nice glassware and things like that. But unfortunately, she said that there was already a man coming in, what would be today, to take a lot of the glassware, and we exchanged phone numbers, and she told us to come back and that there was a whole other property that we could, like, look through. So we spent some time there yesterday after, you know, we exchanged buying the furniture piece, and we got a couple really nice things, some vintage Christmas items. I got 2 large Italian and Poli genie bottles. So we spent we just got a couple of things, but, you know, it was $100, which I think was a great deal. I mean, she got what she wanted, and she was happy, and she wants us to come back and, like, look through stuff, and we want to go back and look through stuff. So we're gonna take, like, I think about $800 tomorrow. I mean, I don't think we're gonna spend all of it, but we're gonna be prepared just in case we find some stuff, because it was a whole lot of, like, needing to dig. Just so much stuff, and, like, you don't even know what's there kind of thing, because it was just piles upon piles of stuff. So I'm excited. Eric's excited too. He actually had a dream about it last night. He's like, I dreamt we went back there. I was like, well, we're supposed to go back tomorrow, so hopefully we find some more stuff. But that, like, took more of the day, and then we went to an auction preview, and it's just so much stuff, and it's so busy. But, you know, I love doing this. Eric loves doing it too, and I'm so grateful for that, because, like, I was reselling even before, I think it was when Eric and I started dating, but, you know, I still lived with my parents and everything like that. We still lived, you know, at our parents' homes, and I remember even, like, when Eric and I moved in together, you know, I was still reselling, and he didn't understand it. Like, he would just think, like, you know, I mean, he liked it, obviously, because it was, like, extra spending money, but I could tell he got a little, like, annoyed by it, because I would have, you know, totes full of stuff. It's not nearly as much as I had back then, right? But, you know, now he's a part of it, and now he loves it. So, you know, it's one of those things I'm so grateful for, because I know a lot of people, you know, have significant others who don't understand it, who, you know, get aggravated by it because it, you know, you have to bring in so much inventory and stuff like that. So, you know, if you don't have a whole lot of room in your house, it's taking up space in your house type of thing. So I'm just so grateful that he loves it now and he's a total part of it and enjoys it just as much as I always have. So I'm kind of rambling right now. So I think that's all I'm gonna really like talk about within this cha-ching, because this really has nothing to do with my cha-chings, but you know, I like to talk to you guys. That's why, and here I am again talking about Whatnot. I know some of you are just like, don't like that at all, but that's one of the reasons why I think I like Whatnot so much, because, you know, it gives me a chance to go live with people so I can talk and ramble to my heart's desire. And it's just a great opportunity for that. So yeah, I'm excited. Like, I am definitely going to be probably continuously doing Whatnot shows just because I'm having so much fun doing them. Like, it's like a whole new aspect of reselling, in my opinion. Like, I have sourced off Whatnot myself. I just sold something for $100 today. I purchased on Whatnot for like less than 20 bucks. So it's a great sourcing opportunity for resellers, and it's a great reselling opportunity for resellers to, you know, sell off some of their inventory type of thing. So I'm having fun with it. So I'm just gonna keep doing it until I'm just like, you know what, I've had enough of this kind of thing. But I don't know, I feel like it's kind of like not necessarily the future of reselling, but I completely, like, at first when I heard about it, I was like, I don't know about that. You know, I was very hesitant about it, and I was thinking like, I don't know how this is going to work, if this is going to like take off, or if this is going to fail miserably kind of thing. But now that I'm doing it and all of that, I'm really starting to enjoy it. So, you know, I'm not getting paid by Whatnot to like talk about it kind of thing. It's just something that I'm personally enjoying. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna get off of here now. Eric will be home very soon with groceries. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.